welcome back to my channel. It's Randy. So as many of y'all know, I started chiropractic school in January, and as of today, I'm officially finished with my first trimester. So of course, I just want to explain like everything that went on my trimester, and I know a bunch of y'all were curious on how I was going to handle it with an autoimmune illness. So this video is talking about all of that. So I will start off by saying that I did have my concerns and my worries like starting a medical program. So I had three big ones. My first one was, of course, how would my RA handle being in a medical program? My second one was, how was my relationship with Matt going to be, because we are 600 miles apart? And my third one was, am I even smart enough to complete this program? A bunch of people in like higher tries or like in higher trimesters or whatever, they kept talking to us and they just kept saying like, oh, this is so hard. Oh my gosh, good luck. Try one is horrible. I don't know if y'all are really ready for how hard this program is. So of course that freaked me out. But now looking back at everything and like being done with try one, I'm so shocked that I had those worries, because now I can just sit back and laugh at them, honestly. So my first concern, how my RA was going to handle being in a medical program. So at the beginning of the program, one of my professors actually found out that I had RA. He only found out because he works in the student clinic, and so he's one of the doctors, of course, and he had to take a medical history on me, and so he found out that I had it. And when he did, you could tell by the look on his face that he was just like, oh no, I don't know what you were thinking of coming here. So of course that freaked me out, because here I am sitting in his office and this is a doctor who went through the program, and he's looking at me like, I don't know how you're gonna do this with having RA. But honestly, my RA did pretty well. I only had one major flare up that lasted for about 2 weeks. So it was a pretty long time, but during that time I really just made sure I really planned out my schedule and I just gave myself extra time to rest. And it honestly happened at a perfect time. We had like this fire that went on at one of the little chemical plants right next to the school, and the school was shut down for 3 days, so like from Wednesday to Friday. Then of course we had the weekend off. So it all worked out, and I was able to take that whole break just to rest and everything, and so that was perfect. I was also able to go to the student clinic once a week, and I was able to receive free chiropractic care as well as free physical therapy, and that was amazing. It was so great for my body, and I just really loved the experience. I loved the student intern that I worked with, because we went to high school together. Well, she graduated way before I did, but she's in the program just in a higher try, and that was just so great for my body just to do weekly maintenance. And that really, I really think that that is what helped decrease my flares by so much. Typically, like the spring semester is when I flare the most. Like in undergrad, I always flared from January to April, and it was horrible. And so the fact that I only flared up one time throughout this whole trimester is pretty amazing. I also made it a point to keep working out, because since I've been working out, it has helped my RA a lot. And I just turned into like a little game. I would do a cardio machine, so either the Stairmaster, elliptical, or I'd ride a bike, and I would put my notes like over the little TV screen, because one, I don't want to see how long I've been on there, because I feel like I've been on a treadmill for 20 minutes when it's only been 20 seconds. So I just covered up the time. I put my little notes on there, and I would just go through my notes and I would recite it to myself, and I would tell myself, okay, Randy, you can't get off this machine until you've learned everything on this page and you know it perfectly. So by the time I learned everything perfectly, then it had been like 15 to 20 minutes. And I was, of course, I was tired, but I wasn't thinking about actually being so tired by being on the machine. I was learning. So that was just a great process and a great system that I had, so that I could work out and study all at the same time. So my second concern was, how was my relationship with Matt basically going to do while I'm in a medical program and he's a collegiate athlete? How are we going to handle being 600 miles apart? So I actually see Matt in just a week. So since I will see him, then I think that I'll just go ahead and make a video with him, and we will talk about the ups and downs of distance, and just basically how our relationship grew, and things that we learned about each other, and just different things that we had to do since both of us were so busy. My third concern was, am I even smart enough? Now, it's kind of crazy to think that I had this concern because I did so well in my undergrad. However, on orientation day, it was the day before classes started, it was a Monday, and this professor from a medical school came in and was talking to us about, whatever studying you used to do, it's not gonna work here. You need to do this, this, and this in order to be successful. Students come in here and they fail out because they don't know how to study, and then they lose all this money, blah, 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 blah. So I literally was sitting there like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to study. So I went through this whole process of me like talking to my mom and just freaking out. And I'm like, I need to relearn how to study. So for like the first 2 weeks of the trimester, I'm literally freaking out. I'm talking to my mom, I'm like, Mom, I don't know how to study. What if I have to drop out? And my mom was just like, Randy, take a breather. You know how to study. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here today, so trust yourself. And I'm just so glad that I did talk to my mom because that really did calm me down. And I did so well in this trimester. I finished with all A's, and going into the trimester, I didn't think that that was going to be possible. So I'm just so thankful, for one, that I have my mom to calm me down, and for two, that God gave me the opportunity to do so well during my first trimester. So I'll start off by saying that the amount of hours that we spent a week in the classroom was way more than I anticipated. We spent 26 hours a week in the classroom, and I honestly, like, I knew coming into the program that, okay, it's gonna be a lot, but I really didn't think about that I was gonna be in the classroom like all day, every day, Monday through Friday. So on top of being in the classroom for 26 hours a week, I still had to manage to actually factor in time to study. So I personally studied every day, so 7 days a week, and not everyone in the program did that, but I had to because I like to study in small chunks, and I had to make sure that I was getting at least 9 to 10 hours of sleep every single night. So I just made it a point to study a small section every single day. So thankfully I'd already made these study habits like during my undergrad, and basically because I've never been the type of person that could pull an all-nighter, and this was so helpful that I did study. I studied only for a max of like 2 hours every single day, well, like every single night. And since I studied every single night and I kept on top of the work, whenever we had a test or a quiz come up, then I was already prepared for it because I'd already been studying for it, so I never had to pull an all-nighter or stress myself out. And honestly, I just made sure I did that from day one of the trimester because I knew that if I got behind in my schoolwork, then I would stress out. And if I stressed out, then I would have to stay up late to make sure that I'm studying, be on top of my assignments. And then if I stayed up late, I wouldn't get 10 hours of sleep, then my RA would flare. So eventually, I just would have burnt out physically and then eventually emotionally too. So I took a total of 7 classes this trimester. The first one was Foundation of Chiropractic Principles. This was basically just like a history course, kind of, just like the history of chiropractic and stuff. The second one was Biochemistry. Basically just, the study of chemistry, living organisms. It was a great class. It wasn't like it was like my favorite class, but it was just a bunch of it was just the nitty-gritty science class that you have to take. I also took histology. This class was a little hard. It had a lecture and a lab component, and histology is just a study of tissues. And I did enjoy the class, just like getting to look at like histological slides and stuff, and getting to see pictures of basically what your body looks like at a microscopic level. But it was a lot of memorization. We also took a medical terminology course. This was just important for like learning root words, and when taking this course, I'd wish that I'd taken Latin because all of these root words were like, oh, in Latin it means blah, blah, blah. But I was like, hey, I don't speak Latin. So that course was kind of hard just because we had to learn, I think it was 410 terms. And so that just became a lot. We also took palpations. Just palpations 1, this is basically just feeling the body and actually feeling like where all your vertebrae are, feeling your shoulder, different parts of the shoulder, parts of the hip, the knee, the foot, just different stuff like that. We also took spinal anatomy, which just focused on the anatomy of just the spine. And we took gross anatomy and embryology. I loved this course the most because we got to dissect cadavers. And my tank, we had this dude, well, we still have him for another 2 trimesters. And his muscles were so great, and it was just such an amazing experience to actually get to look at the human body like in real life, not just looking on models or just looking in a textbook. So all of those classes combined totaled up to 22.5 credit hours. And just as a little fun fact, with all of those classes, we took 35 quizzes, 29 tests, we had 2 projects, and 8 final exams, all in just 15 weeks. So honestly, the best part of the trimester is that I've made some great friends. And we see each other every single day, all day. Everyone in your same trimester has the exact same class schedule. So it's really easy to like grow close with these people because they become like family. You see them more than your family. So I'm really just thankful that I found my group. I have people that just have my back, and it honestly just makes going through this program so much better. So overall, I am enjoying the program. It's everything that I hoped and dreamed it would be. I'm so glad I got over all of those little minor concerns and I kept pushing through, because I wake up every day excited to go to class. I'm excited to learn. I love learning about the human body. And above all, I'm just so thankful for my friends and family that have been the support through this trimester, because it has been hard. It's been rough. But I'm just so thankful that they've been there. They've supported me. They've allowed me to study without feeling guilty that I'm missing out on different things. And so I'm just so excited for what the rest of this program has to hold. And of course, I'm going to keep sharing the experience with you guys. And if you ever have any questions, then please reach out to me. I am here to share anything if I can. And of course, I do hope that y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Goodbye.